We now turn our attention to Japan. The government there bringing in a panel of experts to look at the impact of raising the sales tax, which would be a tax on pretty much everything everybody buys. The government is looking for ways to lower debt, but some argue that the higher taxes would drive the economy into a recession. Mike Fern is live for us in Tokyo. And Mike, what's going on here?
Hi, Phil. Well, Japan's brought in 60 experts from different backgrounds, ranging from the head of a housewives organization to the leader of one of the country's biggest business lobbies. Also on that panel, two very close advisors to the Prime Minister, both of whom oppose the plan to raise sales tax. The current plan being talked about is 5% up to 8% next year and then to 10% in 2015. But these two economists argue the economy isn't strong enough for higher spending tax. The last time Japan raised it, when it went up from 3 to 5%, the country did slip into quite a long recession. The latest GDP figures show the economy growth is slowing in spite of stimulus. But the finance minister, Taro Aso, says that the April to June quarter, second quarter GDP growth of 2.6% does support the case for raising sales tax. And he's also attending these meetings along with the economy minister, Akira Amari, and Haruhiko Kuroda, the Bank of Japan governor. When this meeting is over, Kuroda will brief Abe, and Abe says that he will give his decision in early October after hearing opinions from this panel and also looking at the revised second quarter GDP figures. They're out on September the 9th. We did hear from the Prime Minister Monday, speaking in Q8, saying that if the government raises consumption tax, it should also consider lowering corporate taxes at the same time. But he didn't give any hints as to the time frame for that, Phil.
Hey, Mike, this debt problem that we've been talking about, I feel like it's a bit of cry wolf because every year we go through the same thing, and Japan says we've got this big debt problem and it's this big crisis, and nothing has really happened yet to the debt.
Nothing has really happened because most of the debt is held by Japanese investors. But if you see the yield volatility that we've seen recently and people start to get scared, then there would be a huge problem. This is the worst debt in the world as a percentage of GDP, around 214% of GDP in 2012. Double the country's total economic output for the year, more than 1 quadrillion yen, $10.4 trillion. And the IMF says that this is going to get worse next year. It says that the debt to GDP ratio will climb to 248%. And as I said, if you've got volatility in bond yields, it raises questions about whether the government can manage its debt burden, Phil.
I don't want to give the Republicans in Washington, D.C. any ideas here, but you mentioned the debt issue, and the public is now deciding whether or not this sales tax is a good thing. So it sounds like it's either the country's in massive debt or the people go into debt with at least less money.
Yeah, well, if you ask people, do they want to pay more sales tax, you've probably got a fairly good idea of the answer you're going to get. There was a Nikkei newspaper poll this week. 17% of respondents actually do support the plan, the current plan, 5 to 8%, then 8 to 10% the following year. But most people say that around 40%, the timing should be more flexible, although they do agree that taxes should be raised in order to sort out the debt burden. 24%, though, oppose an increase, Phil.
All right, Mike Fern joining us live from Tokyo. Always good to have you on. Thank you again.